Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, I have a new friend with us. And Keshia, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, Regina, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have an opportunity to interact with your community. So thank you for that. My name is Keshia Butler-Thomas, and I am the CEO and owner of Purposeful Life, Solution-Focused Life and Business Coaching, where we focus on helping the every woman create work-life harmony. In our business, we don't necessarily believe in balance, as we understand that as women, particularly ambitious women, sometimes our business outweighs our personal, and sometimes our personal outweighs our business. And so we found a way to marry the two and create harmony for our clients. What I absolutely love about what I do is the fact that I get to interact and impact multiple women during the course of the day. And I absolutely stand for women empowerment and women in business. And so it's awesome to have this platform to be able to interact with them in that way.
Oh, that's amazing. I love how your energy, first of all, is contagious. I love
Thank
it.
you.
And how you talk about, the balancing, is not real, but the harmony is so important. And that is a great way to describe it. And you must really spend a lot of time working with people trying to find that harmony and what's best for them. So that is pretty amazing.
Thank you so much. And I definitely do. I mean, I think we're all looking for harmony in our lives, especially right now with everything that's going on. Some things that we can't even control. And so we're all searching for a harmonious, peaceful life, however that may look for you.
Right. And everyone's version of that is different.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what types of professionals do you tend to work with?
So I usually work with women who are in some way, shape, or form in transition. So they may be a first-time womanpreneur, or they may be taking on a new project, or they may have had a serious life change. Maybe they just had a baby. Maybe they just got married. And so we both know as women, we wear a ton of hats. That hat may be professional, CEO, mother, wife, what have you. And so it's always interesting when we need to marry those things together and figure out how to work them all and give them all 100%. And so honestly, the industry is pretty agnostic. It's more so the woman and what she's going through at that time.
Right. And I know as a businesswoman, I've been in the business field for, we'll just call it over 20 years at this point. We're not
To
going
get
to
specific.
attach the exact number to this anymore, I think. But I see what you're saying, because there's many life events as you're in the professional world, like, you get married and then things change, and you're obviously your career's still there. And then, you move, or, you have a loved one, something happened with a loved one. A lot of people are dealing with their parents being ill, and while they're maintaining their career and working in their career, they're also taking care of elderly parents or sick parents and things like that. And then of course when you add in kids, it's amazing how women can like juggle all those balls and still succeed at what they do in their professional lives. uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I know, for a working woman myself, I think, okay, well, my first job before I even leave my house is to take care of my family. That's the first job. And then I get to my other job. So I'm having to deal with
Exactly.
that all the time.
Yes, yes. And same here. My family, my husband and my dog, I have to take care of them before I go into the office and I start taking care of that family, as my
Mhm.
clients are family to me as well. And then when I leave that family, then I need to take care of my mother, my 86-year-old grandfather. So I
Yeah.
completely understand what you're saying, where we have so many obligations and we want to show up in every obligation in the best way possible. And that's really what we focus on, helping you be able to show up your best self in each of those scenarios.
That's fantastic. And so when you're working with women, how do they find you? How do they find out about how you can help them? Is it word of mouth? Are you on the internet? What do you do to draw in clients?
So we have a couple of different ways in which clients get in touch with us. So first and foremost, we have a huge social media presence, specifically on the Instagram
Okay.
application. And so people can find us at Life Coach Keish.
Mhm.
All of my handles are at Life Coach Keish. So may that be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and my website is lifecoachkeish.com. So people do connect with us via social media, as well as word of mouth. A lot of my business is referral based, simply because it's not typical to talk about what I do just kind of in general conversation. It's more so if you hear triggers like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm really stressed out at work, then
Mhm.
that's an opportunity for someone to say, oh, I know a person who specializes, in helping you be able to show up your best self. And so that's where a lot of people find out about us, but we do have the social media presence.
That's great. That's great. And I know, if I hear from someone else that, oh, Keisha's great at working, through these types of situations, that's going to mean a lot to me, coming from a friend or a coworker that they've, had the experience and have had a great experience with you. So that speaks volumes.
Yes, it does. And there's no better compliment than a referral, right?
Yeah.
When my clients go and tell someone else about the experience that they had with me, that is truly the most humbling experience for me, because it lets me know that I really did impact them and they believe in what we do so much that they want to offer it to a friend or a family member or coworker or something like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What have been some of the challenges as a professional woman that you've incurred, throughout your career?
Wow, that's loaded. So
Oh, it's a loaded question.
it's funny. I have always, when I was in corporate America, I've always been the only woman in the room.
Mm.
And that's because I worked in big business where for a long time it's been a boys club. And so I spent a lot of time doing what I call dimming my light, where I knew sometimes that I might have known a little bit more or had a different solution for the problem, but I found that I dimmed my light a lot just so that I was able to continue to play in the sandbox, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mhm.
And so I recognized that dimming my light was not helping anyone. It wasn't helping me. It wasn't helping the organization. It wasn't helping the people whom we were trying to impact. And so that really drove me to create a safe space for women, to be able to be the boss babes that they are and not feel as though they needed to dim their light, and teach them how to not do that. Because it took me a while in my own career in corporate America to allow myself to shine. And once I did, I performed better. I was servicing my clients better. All around, I was just better. And so I found that that challenge, once I overcame that, it really made a difference. And so now in my business, that's what we do. We help women overcome that hurdle so that their light can shine.
Love, love, love that. Love that. That's great. Love it. Let your light shine. Don't dim it. Don't dim your light.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's so easy to do,
Mhm.
right? Because you feel intimidated or, what have you, but you have to keep pushing through and let your light shine, because once you do, possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, it's been several months that we've been working through this pandemic and quarantine. How have you had to pivot your business to, handle the situation and continue working with your clients?
So I am such a hugger, right? Like I like to hug and embrace you. And so not being able to do that when meeting new clients has been difficult for me, just
Mhm.
because I'm that kind of person.
Yeah.
And so that has been the biggest pivot for me, being able to just kind of do everything virtually. Now, I've always met with clients virtually. That is our model, always has been. That way it makes it more convenient for people. However, I do initially meet all of my clients in
Mhm.
person. And so not doing that and switching to the Zoom, it was hard. It was hard because I really just like to have that embrace. And I'm a firm believer that people pick up on your energy and your vibes. And it's harder to do that through Zoom than it is in person, of course. And so that has been the biggest pivot for me. But other than that, I can say that we have sustained pretty well throughout the pandemic, which I'm very happy about. I just want to hug people. That's all.
I completely agree with you because one, I'm a huge hugger myself. So I hug when my clients come in my office, we hug. That's, there's no handshakes, it's hugs. There's no
Exactly.
handshakes, absolutely not. So that's been really hard for me as well. And then I also hear what you're saying about the Zoom because like in person, you're larger than life. You can read people and they can read you and they can feel your energy. Well, on Zoom, it's thankfully we have it, but you have to work like 10 times harder to project even half of that energy across
Yes.
Zoom. I mean, it's really difficult, So I know that's a new skill that we've all been, working on since we've had to do it. But also, thankfully, Zoom is a good platform, that we can at least, because if this had happened 10 years ago, I don't know how we would have gotten through.
No
Um,
way.
yeah,
No
yeah.
way.
So yeah, I hear you. I keep telling my clients like we're still meeting clients on Zoom, and I'm like, okay, so now you owe me a couple more hugs by the time we see each other.
Yes, yes. And it's interesting. Everybody is comfortable at different levels. And
Yeah.
so there's been a couple of in-person networking events that I've gone to more recently.
Yeah.
Um, and so you have some people who, they're like fist bumping or kind of like elbow tapping. And then there's a couple of people who are like, no, I hug, just hug me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, of course we want to be cognizant and follow all the rules that were set forth. But it's been really interesting even with that, just trying to figure out how we're gonna, you know,
Yeah.
should we
Well,
wave or what should we.
yeah, and I get like we're, also trying to social distance and all, but sometimes your emotional side, that hug could be very, very important. Somebody really needs it that day, and
Mhm.
that could get them through, a scenario none of us even know that they're going through. So,
Right,
yeah, it's
right.
an important component that people are missing. So we're counting down the days, counting down the days on that.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. 2 weeks turned into 7 months very quickly.
Yes, it was never in a million years would I have thought we would still be here, but hey, here we are. Well, we're getting through it.
We are one day at a time. That's all we can do.
Yep, absolutely. Now, speaking of time travel, because we've been in pandemic for 7 months, no one ever thought we would be here this long, but time traveling to retirement, because it's many years for us. But what's your vision of retirement? How do you see your life when you retire?
So retirement for my husband and I is definitely in Florida.
Okay.
We both love Florida. And so we know that we are definitely going to flee New Jersey, where we are currently, and head down to Florida for retirement.
Ah,
It also looks like comfortability. So I've never been the kind of person who needs to be rich, but I do want to be comfortable. And that's comfortable for me, comfortable for my husband, and comfortable for our potential future children, as we don't want to leave any burdens on them or anything should we have children.
yeah.
And so our main goal is to make sure that leading up until we're investing our money correctly, we are ensuring that we have some long-term assets so that that comfortability is there for us to be able to live our lives in the way in which we choose to. We love to travel, so we want to be able to do that with no worries. And we just want to make sure that should something happen to either one of us, the other person is all right.
No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I'm with you on the Florida idea. I definitely want to be somewhere warm. Not sure if it's
Yes.
Florida, Arizona, Georgia, one of those places, somewhere warm though, for the
Yes.
winter months.
Yeah, I can't even believe how cold it is now
I
at the end of September where we are.
know, I know. Winter is coming. Isn't that the saying? Winter is coming.
I think it's here because it's freezing.
Well, when you go out in the morning and it's 37 degrees, yeah, that's definitely a winter temperature. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. Time
Oh,
to start warming up the car.
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this segment. I have really, enjoyed speaking with you. I'm so excited to learn more about you, and I love that, how you did the analogy of dimming your light to letting your light shine. I think that is a great story to tell to people, and let them learn their lesson through the light. Just how you are letting your light shine. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Regina, thank you again for having me be able to connect with you and your community. I appreciate that so much.
No problem. No problem. We're happy to have you. One more time, tell us, how we can get a hold of you if anybody wants to reach out.
Sure thing. So you can visit our website, which is www.lifecoachkesh, which is KESH.com, and or follow us and engage with us on Instagram at lifecoachkesh, as well as on Twitter and Facebook at the very same handle.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us. This is one of our Women in Wealth series. We had a great conversation today with Keshia, and we'll be back again with another interview in 2 weeks with an alternate educational and interview style videos every other week. So thanks for joining us. And again, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management. Our website is forgewealth.com. And our social media, you can follow us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth. LinkedIn is still Regina McCann-Hess. I'm changing it in my head. But thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.